The City of Waterloo, in cooperation with its many active and inspiring entities, presents Heart for the City, a chance to hear and see what's going on in our city and to meet people who serve you, teach you, entertain you, help you, all neighbors and like you. Make this a city on the move. And now, here's our host, the Honorable Quentin Hart.
Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us on Heart for the City. I'm Quentin Hart, proud mayor of Waterloo, and we have another first-rate show lined up for you. If a person had not been to Waterloo in the last 15 years, they would certainly be amazed at the remarkable progress that has been and is still being made. And it amazes me, and I see it every day, and there is a lot to tell, so let's get started. In 2013, article by Lisa Brockway in Imagine Northeast Iowa about the once thriving downtowns becoming extinct and now reviving, she wrote, "These once sleeping keepers of time have reawakened to tell their story again." And this could not be truer than in Waterloo, Iowa. The downtown is stretching its muscles and shaking off the last few lags of sleep. The pulse of the city is quickening and the buildings are filling again with restaurants, offices, jewelry shops, clothing shops, antique shops, and more. So true, anyone who visits can surely see it. And among the many revised elements of our downtown is one that truly stands out. Stay with us and we will have more on this major revitalization project after this. Welcome back to Heart for the City. There's been a lot of development in our downtown, and Franklin Street is no exception. One 55,000 square foot building could have been abandoned, but instead of leaving it empty, KWWL decided to commit to renovating its own historic building. This $10 million project is now a vestige of our past and a monument to our future. And to tell us more is John Huff, KWWL sales manager and station manager. So I think I got that right.
You got it right. Station manager, general sales manager.
All
yeah,
right.
Mayor.
Well, we want to thank you for being here. You know, normally when we come to KWWL, I'm on the other side. Well, we're on the other side.
Yeah, right. You're turning the tables on us a little bit.
Well, appreciate you being here. But tell us a little bit about your background and how did you end up getting into broadcasting?
Well, a little bit about my background is I went to college for communications, public relations, and advertising. And when I was in college, the college I was at the time had their own little broadcast station, their own little studio and radio station. So I really got into broadcasting right away in college. So came back from college and started here, came back home to the Cedar Valley. I was born and raised here in the Cedar Valley. Came back and worked at a local advertising agency for a few years and got into radio for about 5 years, worked for some local radio stations. And about 1998, KWWL called me and asked me if I wanted to sell advertising for them. And I did, and the rest is history. I've worked my way up in the ranks over the last 20 years at KWWL. And
so you're celebrating an anniversary.
Yeah, coming on 20 years. Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's interesting. So what are your direct responsibilities there?
Primarily, and it's primarily been as general sales managers, just to oversee the entire sales operation, the advertising revenue, the staff for the sales department. We also have offices all throughout eastern Iowa. We have offices in Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, and Dubuque, as well as Waterloo, so to oversee the entire sales operation.
Wow.
And then last year was promoted to station manager, so in addition to the sales department, also overseeing a few other departments and some overall operation of the station.
Okay, and we spoke just a little bit about the work that has been done on the building, and I think last week you may have won an award for the Historic Preservation Commission. talking about the entire project, the rehabilitation. Can you tell us about this?
Yeah, how much time do you have?
All of about, well, it's
How
my
about
show.
a
It's
few
my
minutes? Yeah,
show,
well, I guess
so,
we can
I
keep
mean,
going.
We can kick
huh?
back. No,
Can we call
just
it
a
Heart and
couple
Huff
minutes.
or something?
How about Heart and Huff?
Okay. The renovation, I mean, the project is just, I mean, I could go on for a long time, but the project was such an amazing project. Really, this started back in 2008. The project, we knew we wanted to rehab the building and improve the building. And we actually, at that time, totally gutted the second floor of the building. There's 4 floors in the building.
Right.
We gutted the second floor. And then, of course, the economy and other reasons in 2008, 9, and 10, we kind of put the project on hold. So over the years, we knew we wanted to get to this point, and we finally did. So a few years ago, we began the plans and the drawings, applying for grants that were available to us to be able to put this project together.
And you have been in the building, how long has KWWL been in that building?
Well, KWWL started in 1953,
Oh, wow.
and actually the first few years they were out in the old the KXCL building out north of town there. And they moved into the KWWL building that we know today in 1958.
And the commitment for a project this large, why was that? Why did you decide to do this project?
Well, we have to give a lot of kudos to, first off, our Vice President, General Manager, Jim McKernan, who's also at the station. He was a driving force behind the project. And really our parent company, Quincy Media, based out of Quincy, Illinois. They're family-owned and operated broadcasters, 4th generation, 5th generation family that really believe in their communities. They have markets all over the Midwest. And they truly believe in being a community broadcaster. And they want the buildings that we're in, the people that we employ to be community broadcasters. So it was important to us to make sure we rehab the building and restore it to its original look.
And when you talk about a 100-year-old building, to bring it back to its natural beauties, were there any challenges?
Oh yeah, there were a lot of challenges. You know, just in the construction process alone, I mean, this was a 2-phase project that lasted a little over 2 years. The first phase was to get that second floor ready, because that's where the new set, the newsroom was all going to move to the second floor. Right, you know, at the time it was all on the first floor of the building. So the challenge of just doing demolition and construction while we have newscasts going on in the morning and the evenings and throughout the day, one of the biggest challenges was we had to make sure that the construction crews, the demolition, the subcontractors that were going in and out of the building were literally shut down or quiet when newscasts were going on, you know, because we didn't want to hear hammering in the background.
Right.
And of course, moving employees around, that was a big obstacle. Before we started the project, employees and departments were scattered all throughout 4 different floors of the building.
Right.
So we had to move people around, get people out of the way, do demolition, move them back, demolish somewhere else, and do that for a couple of years.
Well, I know this project encompasses everyone that works for KWWL and the public-private partnership. There's one person that I would like to give a small MVP, and what is the lady at the front desk?
Tracy Roberts.
Okay, Tracy, I remember walking over there in the winter, and she had like this mobile
trailer, yeah.
And she sat out there every day faithfully, never once complained. So maybe not to me, but she has to be one of the MVPs. And to take it such an older building, what about the technology that's inside of it? How does that compare?
Well, again, thanks for mentioning Tracy, because you're right. I mean, not many people would sit out in a mobile office for, I think it was 6, 7, 8 months, and she was in charge of making sure everybody checked in and out of the building because we didn't have a front desk. The technology in the building is second to none. I mean, it truly is a state-of-the-art broadcast facility. You know, taking that old building, and even just all the old wires over the years, you know, for the 60-some years that we were in that building, there were old wires going down the old elevator shafts that we didn't even know what they went to anymore. And to be able to clean it all up, put in new wiring, the new technology, the software, just the workflow of the building, and to be able to truly make it a state-of-the-art facility.
Are there any new technologies coming in the future, or innovations you expect?
For our station, for broadcasting as a whole, broadcast television, I mean, I think the biggest thing you're going to be seeing, and you're already seeing some of it, is smart televisions.
Right.
You know, that, all the live streaming that you'll be able to get online, the smart TVs, and being able to get your local news and information through enhanced television sets, smart TVs. Right. And just the technology of the signal alone. The FCC approved what's called ATSC 3.0, and it's just going to really enhance the signal itself that goes out to the viewers.
Well, we thank you so much. Thank you, John, for taking the time to tell us about KWWL. I consider KWWL to be a great asset to our downtown, to our community, and Cedar Valley as a whole. And I hope to have you back in the future to give us an update on the ever-evolving world of visual media. So thank you.
You're welcome.
If a tree falls in a forest and no one is around to hear it, does it make a sound? This philosophical thought experiment raises questions regarding observation and perception. We have all heard this at one time or another. Well, there are a lot of trees falling in Waterloo, and there is no question that we hear the sound of chainsaws and falling limbs. But what is going on? The answer to this much less philosophical question we'll be right back.
A great college education is all about the connections you make, connecting with classmates with new ideas and with new technology. At Hawkeye Community College, you're more than just a student. You're part of a small community, learning the skills and teamwork you'll need to succeed in your chosen career. You've always dreamed of a better career, a higher salary, and a better life. The connections you make at Hawkeye can bring those dreams into focus. Hawkeye Community College. Connect.
Agri-lust plan of pennies. Let's rewind that. Agri-lust plan of pennies. Everyone out there say it with me. Agri-lust plan of pennies. Or the emerald ash borer, will you say EAB, is an exotic beetle that was discovered in southeastern Michigan near Detroit in the summer of 2002. The adult beetles cause little damage, but the larvae feed on the inner bank of ash trees, disrupting the tree's ability to transport water and nutrients, thereby killing the tree. The emerald ash borer, not a native insect, probably arrived in the United States on solid wood packing material carried in cargo ships or airplanes originating in its native Asia. I know everyone knew that, but I'm just reminding you. And as of February 2018, it is now found in 32 states and Canada. And in Waterloo, the city expects to remove more than 4,000 trees from public property citywide. And here to tell us more about this project and is our city's own forestry department's Todd Derifield. Woo!
Nice work.
Made it through there, the agri-lust, but Todd, tell us a little bit about your background in forestry.
Sure. I went to Iowa State and studied forestry there, and every summer while I was at Iowa State, I came and worked for the Waterloo Parks Department at the time. We've now became Waterloo Leisure Services. And then when I got out of college, I started right in with the forestry crew there and eventually became the city forester in Waterloo. So I've been here for 27 years full-time as a city forester.
Oh, wow. So tell us how is the forestry department or operation composed, or tell us about the qualifications of a certified arborist.
Sure. We have 5 park maintenance, 2 forestry workers, and 1 foreman. And those 6 people are out in the field doing the physical work of trimming trees, removing trees, etc. And then myself, the city forester, kind of organizes all of the work for them. And myself and the foreman are both certified arborists through the International Society of Arboriculture. And there's a criteria that you have to go through to become a certified arborist, and an extensive testing process. And then once you do obtain that designation, then you have to have so many CEUs every few years.
So you have to stay constantly learning and
Yes.
finding out different things. Yeah, give us an update. I mentioned just a little bit about the emerald ash borer, which maybe you can break it down even better than the way I did a little bit. But give us an update on what is it and what happens to an ash tree when they get inside of it.
Sure. As you said earlier, it's an insect, and the insect lays a mass bunch of eggs on the bark, and those eggs, when they hatch, they bore into the bark, and they eat all of the living tissue right underneath of the bark. So it's the larva that is killing the trees.
Wow.
And the best way to even find it on the trees is right now you can go out there and see all of the bark on a tree that's infested, that's knocked off by woodpeckers. We got a lot of fat and sassy woodpeckers in town that are eating these larvae just underneath the bark.
Oh, wow.
So that's how it kills the tree. It just takes all that living tissue, and that living tissue is like straws that are going from the leaves down to the roots, and it's transporting nutrients back and forth, and that transportation has been blocked.
Wow.
So it kills the tree. And our Leisure Services Department, we have removed, 3,700
Oh,
ash
wow.
trees
Really?
right now, and we've got 900 left.
Mm-hmm.
Of those 900, 300 of them are at South Hills Golf Course.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to have to wait till the winter months to get our big equipment in there and take care of them. And then obviously with all of those trees, we have a lot of stumps to remove too.
Right.
So
I'll tell you, number one at Gates, going down that right side, now I can hit a ball over there and be ready, or number two can cut across, but that's another story.
I know where to plant some trees now.
Yeah, it just depends, because the next day it can be going the other way. But tell us a little bit about the Kingsley's Neighborhood Association, what's going on there.
Sure, that was a great project that we're involved with. The Kingsley Neighborhood Association raised a lot of money from the neighbors in the association, and they purchased trees through a bidding process that we went through, and we made up the money with selling some logs from the ash trees from the neighborhood. And so a combination of that money that was brought in by the neighbors and that log money purchased the trees, and on April 28th, my birthday,
Oh, happy
the
birthday.
day after Arbor Day.
Belated.
Thank you. We planted 76 trees with 70 volunteers from the neighborhood, and there was one Boy Scout group and one Girl Scout group, and it was a great day.
Okay. And then there's some responsibilities. When is it the city's responsibility to tear down the tree, or our responsibility?
Sure. Typically, a city right-of-way has a sidewalk, a street, and another sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
And the area between the sidewalk and the street is city property, and those trees in that area are maintained by the city. If that tree dies in that area, or if the tree is a hazard in that area, state law states that the community is responsible for taking care of that. So we manage those trees. Not everywhere has a sidewalk, so there's still a right-of-way there. You just kind of got to figure that right-of-way out. On the private side of the property line, so between the house and the sidewalk, those trees are the responsibility of that property owner, and they would have to either treat them if they choose to protect it from the insect, or remove it themselves.
And we're not just cutting trees down, we also are trying to preserve trees too when we can.
Correct. We are treating a number of notable trees in our parks and a number of strategic trees in our golf courses.
All right. And then really quickly, bird-friendly city?
Sure.
Tell us about that.
That's also another exciting project that we're working with a great group of people, the Prairie Rapids Audubon Society, and us and them have basically created this designation through another group and we're the first bird-friendly city in Iowa, but it's an important it is important because we are showing that as a community that birds are important and they're a vital part of a healthy ecosystem, and they're big as part of a quality of life.
Right.
And
one more quick question. We're also a Tree City USA designee?
yes, we have been for 34 years, and we've met a certain amount of criteria to make us a Tree City USA. And basically what that means is our mayors over those 34 years, including yourself, and our council members over those 34 years have supported our department doing or basically maintaining a healthy urban forest.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Todd, for coming back to Heart for the City to update us on the AB program. We will certainly have you back again for any updates on all that you and your crews are doing to preserve our forest of trees. So thank you so much. EAB was found in Waterloo in January 2014. Homeowners with ash trees on their private property are encouraged to research their options. Start by getting estimates for the removal of the ash trees from licensed and insured tree services, or start researching the methods and costs of treating your ash trees each year. If homeowners choose to do nothing, the ash tree on your property will die as EAB attacks it. Moving on, downtown Waterloo has experienced a renaissance, and the downtown farmers market is about to join it. Stay tuned. You will want to know about this growing trend in urban living.
Whether you like spin, aqua zumba, or insanity, you'll find your fix at the Cedar Valley Sportsplex. With a membership, you get access to over 50 specialty classes per week and state-of-the-art equipment. We focus on fulfilling the fitness goals for the whole family. For a limited time, all initiation fees are waived. If you're ready to work on wellness for less, join the family at Cedar Valley Sportsplex in downtown Waterloo today.
The former Riverloop Farmers Market, held in the Riverloop Expo Plaza, is now the Waterloo Urban Farmers Market. This new name was precipitated by a change in ownership and tone. And to tell us about this is DaQuan Campbell, the marketing manager. So welcome, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself, Mayor?
Good, good. DaQuan, tell us a little bit about your background and how you got involved with the market.
Well, first and foremost, I'm a local. I was born and raised here in Waterloo. I kind of got my start by being a student assistant for the UNI local food program. There I was able to do various tasks, maintaining social media accounts, connecting with different local farmers and producers. And I got my big break by getting the opportunity to manage the Friday Market on the Park, which was a pop-up farmers market that was at Friday Lou. That was a partnership between Cedar Valley Good Food Network and Main Street Waterloo. We received some great feedback, so we kept that working relationship. Economic Vitality Committee for Main Street Waterloo had an interest in bringing the farmers market to their district, and we kind of went from there.
And tell us a little bit about like the ownership for the urban farmers market and the partners.
So right now, Main Street Waterloo is our fiscal agent. They kind of oversee some of the things. They provide us with a lot of different resources, from management to marketing, and again, they from the Economic Vitality Committee are the one that kind of spearheaded this effort. So they're really involved and invested into the success of the market.
And where is the market and when is it open?
It's on 460 Jefferson Street, the Riverloop Expo Plaza.
Right.
It's every Saturday from 8 a.m. to noon, and that started this past Saturday, May 5th, and it runs all the way to October 27th.
Okay. So very exciting time. So what happens
At the market?
Yeah.
So a lot of customers come down. They want to talk with local farmers. They want to know where they're getting their food from. So a farmer's market is a way for you to talk to that person who's actually growing your food, and not just produce. You can also get baked goods, prepared foods, arts and craft. And then we also have some activities for children as well. We have a vendor from Usborne Books and More.
Okay.
They sell books for children, so to provide that education as well.
So who's the primary customer or the market that urban markets reach?
Well, I know there's always a primary customer, but really our focus is trying to making this a family-friendly event.
Right.
So not only the traditional farmers market goers from the older generation, but we also want to be able to provide an event and an experience that will allow them to bring their children and grandchildren.
And when you talk about experience, you know, of course you have the food, the fresh produce, and the crafts and arts, and all of those things. Are there any other experiences from a band to, I don't know, is there,
Yeah.
what else is?
So we actually had Gene J. He was our first entertainment act, so we have live entertainment each week. And not only that, we also have a weekly community tent, so to add to that education piece,
Right.
we're recruiting organizations around town who want to share information that's relevant to maintaining a healthy lifestyle or any great information around Waterloo.
And so we talked about the customer who you're reaching out to, providing that entire experience, but you also have the vendors that participate
Correct.
as well. And just once again, can you tell us who are our vendors comprised of? You know, what there is no typical vendor, or there is, but tell us who our vendors are comprised of. And then what does it take to actually be a vendor as well?
Well, our vendors right now are a bunch of different farmers, baked goods, arts and crafts. Those vendors are, some of those vendors were past vendors that are joining us again this season. But from us, we're trying to recruit as many new vendors as possible. So we don't really have a quote-unquote traditional type of vendor. We're really trying to get out there and get some people who
Right.
have different products. We have a fashion vendor right now from LuLaRoe, so they are providing a lot of different unique things to the market, and we're excited about that.
Right. And you know, one place that my family, we always go to is to Charleston, to their market as well. Is blocks long. So I know we're starting out a couple blocks, but within the next 5 years, I see that expanding to where the majority of that downtown area is completely blocked off, and you know, lots of people out there. So you're on that right track right now, and I'm really excited about this project and with you at the helm of marketing this to the community. And just to reiterate, there has been a change, and you mentioned a little bit earlier. From last year, it was a co-op, I believe. Was
Correct.
that? And then this year.
This year, Main Street Waterloo, like I said, is our fiscal agent, and kind of the reason for the name change is that building is empty now. So we didn't really know who was going to be the tenants,
Right.
and we wanted to create a name that would attract all of those people in downtown areas. So the Waterloo Urban Farmers Market, we feel like, did that. We have a 13-member board who felt that was a good decision for us to make, and we'll go from there.
And you know what's interesting, when we talk about a farmer's market, if there's any state that should have a farmer's market,
Right. For sure.
it should be Iowa. And there are, you know, now more and more. You know, you used to ride by and see one person sitting on the stand and maybe have some sweet corn,
Right.
or you go here. But now this is the culmination, bringing people together. But one of the questions I want to ask, how important is it to have fresh, healthy produce readily available?
It is very important. Sometimes I think we lose sight of that a little bit by just the grocery store being so convenient.
Right.
But when you're able to go downtown and you're able to look that person that's growing your food in the eye and know, and they're able to tell you what type of products they're using to maintain these fruits and vegetables, it's super important for our health. So I think a farmer's market plays a pivotal role into the success and the healthiness of our community, and I think we want to be a part of that.
And you know, about a year or so ago, I worked with Wheaton Franciscan and the Blue Zones with Sue Beach and Kia Levy, and we worked on a veggie voucher program, because the access for people to be able to have fresh fruits, fresh produce. Some people are fresh produce insecure. They may
Right.
not have access. So we put together the program to be able to help them to be able to have access to fresh fruits and veggies. So it's absolutely important. And when you're talking about the overall health of our community, having exposure, having opportunity, and entrepreneurship.
Definitely, definitely. One thing that I'm super interested in is social entrepreneurship, and I feel like this gives me a route to do that.
And so from there, people can from the vendors. Are there any spots left for vendors if they want to be included?
Yes, we have a lot of spots available. I shouldn't say a lot, but we have some spots available.
Right.
But you can contact me directly at urbanmarket@mainstreetwaterloo.org, or you can call Main Street Waterloo's phone number and they'll get you in contact with me. So
I got a feeling this is going to exceed. You have high expectations and goals.
Definitely.
This is going to exceed any of those expectations and goals, and going to be such a fantastic, fantastic opportunity. So thanks, DaQuan, for telling us about the activity, which is gaining in popularity every year or maybe every month. Please tell us again the when and where of the market.
So the market is located at Riverloop Expo Plaza. That's at 460 Jefferson Street, and that's every Saturday from 8 a.m. to noon.
All right, thank you. In Waterloo, we have it all. We have a farmer's market, wildlife reserve, sports, boating, dining, entertainment, and music, to name a few. But do you have young kids? Take them to the petting zoo. Lots of volunteers are working to get the zoo ready. And this year, special help came from a group of 15 Expo Alternative Learning Center students. Just another example of great people living, working, and playing in our community. And check out Facebook for hours and upcoming events at the Sunrise Children's Zoo.
Discover your past, present, and future at the Grant Museum District. Explore and play at the Bludorn Science Imaginarium. This interactive science center provides fun, hands-on exhibits and live science demonstrations. Visitors can explore more than 90 different exhibits and marvel at the aquariums and enclosures that are home to a variety of amphibians, fish, reptiles, snakes, and arachnids. Enjoy both permanent and temporary exhibits at the Grant Museum of History and Science. Take in a planetarium show and learn all about the history of the Cedar Valley. Marvel at the Victorian elegance of the Snowden House and the Rensselaer Russell House Museum. Visit the Sullivan Brothers Iowa Veterans Museum and take in its traditional and interactive displays. Veteran stories are told throughout the museum's mini theaters, interactive maps, dog tag stations, and more. Visit gmdistrict.org for details, hours, and rates.
Well, that's our show. We have an outstanding reference for entertainment, shopping, eating, sporting events, and other activities. And that is the Waterloo Convention and Visitors Bureau award-winning website, travelwaterloo.com. The website is for visitors and everyone who lives in the area. And the City of Waterloo, Iowa has created a fully integrated bicycle transportation system. We are a Blue Zone city and a bicycle-friendly city, as well as a bird-friendly city also, but that's on another episode. But drivers, respect your bicyclists, and bicyclists obey all traffic regulations, and I mean all. And everyone be courteous and be safe. And remember to tell others that Heart for the City episodes are available for viewing on the City of Waterloo homepage, and that's cityofwaterlooiowa.com. Also, be sure to like the Heart for the City on Facebook. One more time, also be sure to like Heart for the City on Facebook. But please join us next time, and thanks for watching Heart for the City. Until then, I think you will agree, it's a great day to be in Waterloo.